Hello everyone, this is Fantasy Ask and welcome back to Vampire Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we experienced the Grandmaster's first ever death. In his very long and troublesome life, for the first time, he actually ended up succumbing to injuries that he received from the war. And now he only has 8 lives left. I'm kind of surprised that he only lost 1, given how old he is. And I thought maybe some of his lives would stack together, but apparently that is not the case. He is determined to be eternal as long as possible. That aside, we were getting our fledglings ready in their final moon before they become Mistwalkers? What am I saying? Mistwalkers, my goodness. Warriors, essentially. And they've had their ceremonies, guys. I'm sure you might be able to spot some of them around the camp over here, but I am excited to take a look at them, see how they were influenced, the personalities they got, and also we do have a little bit of sad news over there. So let us jump into the leaders and take a look. We are now on moon 43. It is our second turn of leaf fall. So we now have hostilities with all of the hunting clans. Great. We lost the neutrality we had with Gosma clan. Okay, in terms of events, Day Clan recently led out a surprise attack to claim Vampire Clan territory, but to no avail. Blue Jay's torn pelt has healed. Blue Jay has finally gotten rid of all her fleas, so she's all healthy and well now. Grandmaster Shivering Star calls the clan to a meeting and declares Pinepaw to be a warrior. He is now called Pine Speck and is celebrated for his pragmatism. He is also going to be awarded the title of the Pine Prince because he graduated as the best of his batch, which we checked at the end of the last episode. Grandmaster Shivering Star calls the clan to a meeting and declares Ibis Paw to be a warrior. She is now called Ibis Shiver and is celebrated for her skill. However, I changed her name to Ibis Freckle, so she is called Ibis Freckle. Burnleaf, Master Burnleaf, gives Fawnpaw a friendly nudge when the leader calls the young cat's name. He watches with pride as Fawnpaw steps forward to receive his new name, Fawn Nest, and is honored for his tenacity. And out of all of them, I actually like Fawn Nest's name the best. And I think I like his appearance the best too. We'll take a look at him in a second. But for the very sad news that we got within the, celebrations and such, Bloomkit has gotten kitten cough. This shakes me because why is it all our tawny cats? All of our tawny cats, I feel like, are either targeted by death or sickness. Like, why? I was so excited to have Bloomkit with us, and she looks so pretty and so unique, but now she has kitten cough, and there's a 50-50 chance she's going to survive. We know that Ibis Freckle had kitten cough and she was very young, but thankfully she got, she recovered from that unscathed. But I don't know if we can say the same for Bloomkit. She could very well die, leaving her sister Wolfkit to be the only child in that litter, which would absolutely break my heart because Bloomkit is just so pretty. But let's take a look, guys, at our new Mistwalkers. So, Bloomkit is all curled up. Hazelpelt also, I need to give attention to this before I forget. Hazelpelt has become a senior because he is now 120 moons old. Hazelpelt, I think this was very, very timely age up with, his children becoming young adults themselves. But first up, we have Pine Speck over here, who has become a cold cat, who is also a good climber. So Pine Speck, let's see how he was influenced. He was mentored by Sunnytail. Sunnytail influenced him to be more likely to follow the status quo. When he graduated, he was honored for his pragmatism. Now, I feel like Sunnytail, we saw this in his training, but because he wasn't very experienced, he had one good thing about him where he recognized that he didn't have the experience needed to maybe personally oversee Pine Speck's training, so a lot of what he used to do was send Pine Speck out on smaller patrols with more experienced cats to observe them, kind of unsupervised, and Pine Speck managed to learn a whole heap from that. And basically, I think, Sunnytail's I think philosophy was the path to success is the established path, and if that wasn't with him, then he was fine for his apprentice or his fledgling to kind of be under the guidance of others. So it's almost as though he kind of mentored Pinespec from a distance. But I think because of that, because Pinespec didn't receive warmth in his own relationship with his mentor, he ended up becoming quite cold. But at least his bloodthirst was curbed in a way. And he gained, I think, maturity from, his training. So there was that. He became Pine Prince, but definitely it would, I think, at the cost of maybe the relationship he could have developed with Sunnytail. So that is Pinespec. Then we have his sister, Ibis Freckle. Look at her. She retained her shamelessness and is also a clever cat. Let's see how, she was influenced, yep. She was mentored by her mother, Quiet Flight. Quiet Flight influenced her to be more likely to break away from the status quo, dwell on things, resort to violence, and put others at ease. When she graduated, she was honored for her skill. Now, Quiet Flight obviously had the complete opposite idea when she was teaching her daughter in terms of following the status quo. I think for Quiet Flight, the important thing was you can kind of make your own path. You don't have to follow the established route, but also you don't always have to agree with the cats around you. And I think it's pretty clear with the fact that Quiet Flight and Hazelpelt, they are both anti-loyalists to the leader and to, the vision that he has for the clan, the things that he gets the clan involved in. She doesn't really agree with that, and she hasn't agreed with it for a long time. And she's kind of passed on the same thing to her daughter. You don't always have to follow the mainstream, right? And also, it is good to dwell on things, to reminisce and remember. You shouldn't forget things that have happened to you in the past. And you shouldn't be so easy maybe to forgive the things that have happened in the past. And I think that, again, ties into maybe her opinion of the Grand Master. And then resorting to violence. Obviously, they live in a time of war. You shouldn't be afraid to get into a good fight and be able to defend yourself. And then putting others at ease, I think, ties to that as well. You should be skilled enough that you don't worry those who love you about whether or not you can kind of make it through difficulties and make it through unexpected situations, especially when it comes to being attacked by vampire hunters. So that is Ibis Freckle over here. And then we have my favorite, Fawn Nest. Look at how pretty he looks. He has also retained his childishness and is a skilled mediator, so he will make a good whisper when he gets a bit older. So he was mentored by Master Burnleaf. Master Burnleaf influenced him to be more likely to think things through and be cold towards others. Burnleaf helped him become better at resolving arguments. When he graduated, he was honored for his tenacity. Okay, so I think for Burnleaf, because Fawnest has been so childish, maybe sometimes he has a very kind of short-term idea of consequences because he doesn't really think about that, right? He doesn't think too far ahead. So I think Burnleaf would have wanted to impart to Fawnest that you should think about the consequences to your actions and you should think things through so that you don't I think step on others' toes, but also sometimes they're vampires. They live a very serious life, I think, and not to take things too lightly, either when it's to do with yourself or when it's to do with others. Just in general, don't take things too lightly, because that could cost you your life. That could cost someone else their life. And I think Burnleaf, who maybe would have been seeing a little bit of his daughter when training Fawnest, or what, his relationship with his daughter could have been, I think Burnleaf would take that very seriously as well. He wouldn't want Fawnest, who I think Burnleaf has developed quite a friendship with, hopefully, I think, a camaraderie. He wouldn't want Fawnest to be lost to them as well. So, safety, security, I think he's imparting that onto Fawnest. Don't let your childishness carry you away to a place you can't come back from. And then being cold towards others, I think that's probably tied into loss with Burnleaf. Maybe he's teaching Fawnest not to get too attached to the cats around you, that you can't go on without them. If something happens to them, you should be able to live your life, and you should be able to live your life well. I think because Burnleaf is still hurting a lot from the death of his daughter Fire Ivy. So that's kind of what we have going on with Fawnest. So those are the cats. I'm sorry if I ramble too much. Sometimes I feel like I'm concise with my points, and sometimes it's like the thoughts are drip feeding and I have to like keep going. But okay, that's what we have for our new Mistwalkers, which is very, very exciting. I'm very nervous about Bloomkit. I really do hope she survives. I mean, I was so excited to have this dynamic between Wolfkit and Bloomkit, our gentle, like our two gentle sisters, and Bloomkit's genetics are so pretty. Like, I was so excited that we had a Torty that had passed on. But are you telling me we're gonna lose our Torty? What does the game have against all my Torty vampires? Like, why can't you leave them alone? Okay. Well, I think we should be able to now go on to the medicine cat den, see what's going on here. Blue Jay was given goldenrod as treatment for torn pelt, and then her torn pelt healed. Blue Jay was given plantain as treatment for fleas, and then her fleas healed. And Hazel Pelt could not find any herbs this moon. Let's check out relationships. The clan is surprised to see Blue Jay and Twilight Fade chatting casually over a meal. Blue Jay clears up a misunderstanding with Wolfkit. Master Burnleaf notices how closely Blue Jay sticks to her beliefs. Master Burnleaf got a bunch of cats up for morning stretches, they didn't like it. Sunnytail respects Master Burnleaf's opinion despite disagreeing with it. So he doesn't agree with his father's opinion on something. Twilight Fade and Master Burnleaf always challenge one another. Twilight Fade and Ibispaw say goodbye but end up walking in the same direction. Grandmaster Shivering Star includes Ibispaw in a conversation that Ibispaw struggled to join, so this was obviously before their Mistwalker ceremonies. Grandmaster Shivering Star, Lightsong and Owlfeather took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Grandmaster Shivering Star and Sunnytail know more about each other than anyone else. Master Burnleaf says he hopes Lightsong has a nice day. Lightsong saw Bloomkit the other day and did get a chance to meow hello, so some mother-daughter bonding, and Lightsong would be devastated if she lost her daughter from kitten cough. Quiet Flight and Pine Paw swap secrets with each other. Look at this. Quiet Flight and her favorite son before the ceremony, spending time with one another. Probably Quiet Flight telling him how proud she is of him and giving him encouragement. Since he snagged that title of Pine Prince. You know the other thing, the two kittens right now, Bloomkit and Wolfkit, they're 5 moons old, which means they're supposed to become fledglings in the next episode. How heartbreaking would it be if Bloomkit died? Like, on the moon, she was supposed to become a fledgling. That would be terrible. Quiet Flight trips over Bloomkit. Wolfkit won't tell Hazel Pelt what she ate this morning. Hazel Pelt is impressed with Pinepaw's willingness to help, so some father-son bonding time. Hazel Pelt goes out of his way to catch Quiet Flight's favorite prey. Look at that. He's being really nice and attentive. Maybe he's wanting to spend time with Quiet Flight because, I mean, their children are about to graduate at this point in time in the timeline, and he's just really proud of his mate and himself for creating this wonderful family. A big bug keeps buzzing around Owlfeather and Fawnpaw. Sunnytail learns something about a clanmate from Master Burnleaf. So some more father-son bonding time. Or, I mean, they weren't bonding before, they were disagreeing with each other. Sunnytail gets a bunch of cats up for morning stretches, they don't like it. Pine Speck, okay, at this point they've had their ceremony. Pine Speck is surprised when Quiet Flight compliments him. Look at that, she went to him before the ceremony and to him straight afterwards. Fawnpaw brings Ibis Freckle herbs from the medicine den for a headache. Obviously they're having the ceremonies in order. Fawnest and Hazel Pelt have a long discussion about goals and aspirations and find that they both have a lot in common. Look at that! Even Fawnest is getting a little recognized by his father as the invisible younger child. And even before this, when Fawnpaw, following his sister's ceremony, went and brought her some herbs for her headache, I think that was really sweet, given that Fawnpaw has always been a little bit mean to Ibis Freckle, even though she's his older sister. He's been a little bit of a bully towards her, I think. But during the ceremony, he was mindful enough to, be caring and think about her headache. Wolf Kid believes everything Twilight Fade says. Bloom Kid talks all the time about Wolf Kid. Oh my goodness. So Wolf Kid believes everything her father says. I wonder if her father was probably reassuring Wolf Kid that her sister's going to be fine, and Wolf Kid's believing her father. And then Bloom Kid is constantly talking about her older sister, Wolf Kid, and maybe how excited she is to become fledglings, and they'll have so much fun together as fledglings. Oh, I really, really hope she makes it, guys. I really do. I want this relationship to continue. But okay, that's all we have for events. Let me cut the recording here, and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let's check out the cat list. So first up, we have loyalties, and there has actually been a change. Now, among Shivering Star's loyalists, we have Ibis Freckle, who has been pretty much following her brother Pinespeck with, I think, his decisions about, how he thinks of the Grand Master and how he feels about his loyalty. But we know that in terms of their training, Pinespeck's mentor, Sunnytail, kind of taught him to follow the mainstream, right? So follow the established path to success. And Pinespeck, within his family, the status quo is that they do not like Shivering Star as a leader. So he's kind of been following that. And Ibis Freckle's mother taught her the different thing, which was you don't always have to follow what everyone else is doing. You don't have to go along with the mainstream. You can think for yourself and make your own choices. And Ibis Freckle has done that, although it means that her political alignment is very different to pretty much the entirety of her family, like both her brothers and her parents. In this episode, I think during events, we also saw Shivering Star was being really nice to Ibis Freckle. He helped involve her in a conversation that she was struggling to join, and Ibis Freckle, I think, maybe saw a slightly different side to Shivering Star that was more it was more personal and it was kinder than maybe what he portrays to the other cats at times. And Ibis Freckle kind of felt like, well, he's nice to me, why shouldn't I be nice to him? So this shameless cat is indeed loyal to Shivering Star now. And that is all I had in terms of loyalties. Relationship-wise, I actually noticed something with one of the cats, and I don't actually remember whether or not I have mentioned this in a previous episode because I completely blanked on whether this was new information or old information. I'm just playing on the safe side and assuming it's new. It was with Lightsong. Lightsong, who has a romantic gain, had a romantic gain with Blue Jay. She's got a bar and a bit of romance with Blue Jay. And I was like, when the heck did this happen? But I'm thinking, guys, that maybe Lightsong has been so worried about her daughter getting kitten cough that she is maybe wanting to connect with another parent who has lost a child. Like Blue Jay has lost Fire Ivy, and that kind of hit her hard. And I think right now, with the way Lightsong feels, maybe she doesn't think any other mother in the clan is going to be able to understand her feelings better than Blue Jay. So perhaps they were spending time together and she started appreciating Blue Jay's company and maybe leaning on her a little bit, and that's where this romance is coming from. Maybe from a place of seeking comfort and getting comfort. So that's kind of what we have with Lightsong. But that is all we have in terms of relationships. I really quickly wanted to kind of see how the relationship between all the mentors and their fledglings were. So we're going to take a look at that real quick. So the first up, we have Sunnytail and the Pine Prince, Pinespeck. Look at how cold their relationship is. Sunnytail has like nothing on his end for his fledgling. Nothing. He's got like zero feelings towards Pinespeck. This kind of really goes to show that for Sunnytail, I feel like he was treating this almost as a very formal job. This was a task he was given, no personal feelings attached. He just did what he was supposed to do. He made sure his fledgling became a prince, got that title, and job done. There's like nothing on Sunnytail's end. And Pinespeck, I think, I mean, even though they weren't friends, he trusted in his mentor to get him where he needed to go. And also, I think PineSpec felt really comfortable with the arrangement that Sunnytail used to always make for him, because it allowed his excitable, slightly violent side to thrive. And it kind of makes sense why PineSpec ended up cold. I mean, this is the kind of mentor he was with. So we have these two. Then we've got Quiet Flight and her daughter, Ibis Freckle, who have a very different relationship. They have such a good friendship with one another, and I think it's the advantage of them being family. But Quiet Flight, she actually admires, I think, the she-cat her daughter has become, and she feels very safe with her daughter's capabilities. And likewise, Ibis Freckle, she feels very safe with her mother, and she, I think, during a fledgling, came to rely on her mother and her mother's opinion quite a lot. So that was actually really cool between the two of them. And then we have Master Burnleaf and Fawn Nest, who don't have, so the boys don't, even though the boys did better actually as fledglings, they don't have friendships with their mentors. However, Fawn Nest and Burnleaf seem to have like mutual feelings towards one another in terms of liking each other's company. They got along quite well, being comfortable with one another, and, you know, they're trading together and trusting one another. I think Burnleaf trusting Fawn Nest to listen to him and keep up with him, and Fawn Nest trusting Burnleaf to teach him the right things. So it's kind of interesting that the Pine Prince had the worst relationship. Well, I can't say it was the worst, but, you know, had the coldest relationship with his mentor. And the cat that had, I think she performed, like, if you think about it, the worst, had the best relationship with her mentor. So that's fascinating. But also, guys, the other exciting thing that we have, now that our newest batch of Mistwalkers have aged up, Grandmaster Shivering Star is ready to make a brand new match. And he has decided that the new match is going to be between our Owl Princess and our Pine Prince. So Owl Feather and Pine Speck are actually going to be paired up with one another as the newest match. And I'm kind of excited for this because when I look at the two of them, they remind me of like mint chalk ice cream. I don't know why, like the green and maybe the light brown. It looks like a mint chalk chip, doesn't it? It does to me with the green eyes as well. So I'm kind of really excited to see what kind of ice cream babies they're gonna have. Ice cream kittens. So Owl Feather, let's make this match for her with, oh, Pine Speck. Now she's insecure and he's cold, and apparently they are compatible. And it's very nice because they're super close in age. I mean, they're a litter apart. But also, guys, this is gonna be our first match, I think, from the Clanborn generation, within the Clanborn generation. And one of you lovelies, Vonel, in one of the previous videos made a really good point that in Luminous Clan, the period where we had like big litters was when the second generation or the Clanborn cats started breeding within themselves because they were very young. And so they ended up having bigger litters. And if that's the case, then please throw me big litters. I cannot wait for us to have like litters of 4 and 5 and 6 again. Like, I miss those days, you know? So I have high hopes for Owl Feather and Pine Speck. So there we go. They are official. Don't they look like mint choc chip ice cream? They kind of do to me. They do. But I'm super thrilled for these two. I wasn't expecting them to be compatible, but apparently they are. And as for their descriptors, where are they? Owl Feather is a light brown tabby she-cat. Pine Speck is a speckled pale tom. Owl Feather has green eyes and a mackerel pelt. And then Pine Speck has emerald eyes and a speckled pelt. So I cannot wait to see these two get along even better. But let's send them over to Twilight Fade so they can listen to the whispers. I need to allow them to have kids, of course. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So Twilight Fade, let's go ahead and see how Owl Feather and Pine Speck get along. Obviously, they are going to be seriously considering one another, first off. with their 2 romance bars. But let's see if this opinion or like their consideration like improves into a good opinion. So we'll mediate. Okay, so romantic interest, respect, platonic like, trust, comfort has increased, dislike has decreased. Now, I can kind of see Owlfeather, who is an insecure cat, and I think has been from a young age, maybe seeking some, approval from Pine Speck, potentially. But you know what? I could see her being a little bit standoffish herself in the beginning to protect herself from Pine Speck's opinion. But Pine Speck, who is a cold cat, I imagine, doesn't think much of things that Owlfeather is self-conscious of. And I think maybe that works between the two of them. Because certain things that concern Owlfeather, Pine Speck doesn't make a big deal out of it. So then Owlfeather doesn't feel the need to be insecure about that in front of him. So he kind of, in a way, with his lack of reaction, maybe reassures her and her constant overthinking about things. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go. Maybe Pine Speck is, obviously they're going into this as a formal arrangement, but who knows? In the future, maybe Pine Speck is going to start finding the things that Owlfeather thinks too much about adorable, and Owlfeather is going to find Pine Speck's like coldness to be quite grounding and, relaxing, because it's not like a frenzy is being added to what's swirling around in her own head. I feel like Pine Speck would kind of slow her down, calm her down. So I'm excited to see these two in the future. But okay, that was wonderful. That was a success. Now let's go ahead and see what all the cats are doing for the day. Grandmaster Shivering Star saw a 2-legged kid playing with a dog. Master Burnleaf curses a squirrel that just barely got away. Hazel Pelt is looking for herbs. Twilight Fade wants to get to know Bloom Kid better. Oh, that's right. Oh, I think Twilight Fade, who would also be worried maybe about his daughter, maybe wants to spend more time with his daughter and get to know as much as possible. I think he's trying to make as many, listen to her talk as much as possible. Basically create a clearer memory of her in case he cannot create more memories with her in the future. Blue Jay tries to set a good example for younger cats. Quiet Flight is grooming her already silky soft coat. Light Song is humming a tune she heard near a 2-leg place. Sunnytail is not looking forward to the sparse hunting in Leaf Bear. Owlfeather is picking the birds from her pelt. Pine Speck cleans the clearing of fallen leaves. Nest brought Hazel Pelt a berry to identify. Okay, he's spending a bit more time with his father. Ibis Freckle wants to spend time alone today. Wolf Kid is waiting to watch the sunrise. I think Wolf Kid would be watching the sunrise with anticipation, not because of its beauty, but because she wants to see how her sister does the next day, and she very desperately wants her sister to see another sunrise to, feel better and be better. Bloom Kid is playing a prank on Blue Jay. Oh, Bloom Kid. She's sick, but she's refusing to act sick. Oh, she's not letting her sickness hold her back. Okay, so that is all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Okay, time for us to resume with our patrols. We currently have 116.5 prey. We need 34. This is our special set of patrols because we have not only some of our Mistwalkers who are going out for the first time as fully fledged young adults, but also we have in the next episode 1 or 2 new fledglings, depending on whether Bloom Kid survives kitten cough. But we're going to have fledglings in the next episode. So Shivering Star is going to be keeping an eye out for potential mentors this time around among the Mistwalkers for the youngsters. So first up, we'll send out Hazel Pelt, our Nightstalker, to see what he can get up to. As he heads out to gather cobwebs, Hazelpelt thinks about the dream he had last night. Was it sent by StarClan? Proceed. It definitely distracts him from the hunt for cobwebs, but Hazelpelt uses the time by himself to put his thoughts in order. The sign from his ancestors will need acting upon, and he returns to camp to assemble the leader and deputy. Okay. Let's quickly go through and see. Actually, maybe I think I'll set the patrols, and then we'll see the potential mentors we have. So we're going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 4. We'll say that whoever Shivering Star goes on a patrol with, those are the cats he's shortlisted, and the other cats he's not really taking into consideration. Oh. Okay. Okay. So, Shivering Star is taking into consideration. I think Mistwalkers would be the preference, right? Mistwalkers would be the preference, but I suppose not always the case. So, I mean, you have Shivering Star himself, our troublesome leader, but he's also considered, and then you have, Master Burnleaf, who is in the inner circle, and typically, cats in the inner circle wouldn't be the first choice for a mentor. I feel like the leader only assigns himself or, the master, a fledgling if they don't feel like any other Mistwalker is capable enough to teach a fledgling or is not the right mentor for a fledgling, because they already have roles within politics, within the inner circle, or unless, they feel that a fledgling has special potential, really good potential, and so they want that fledgling to have access to the inner circle from a young age. In terms of Mistwalkers, we have Quiet Flight, so a charismatic cat who is good at climbing. So this is one of the cats that Shivering Star has shortlisted, along with her son, Pine Speck, the Pine Prince, who is cold and also good at climbing. So for whatever reason, Shivering Star is kind of placing emphasis on our charismatic and cold cat who are good at climbing. The cats the Mistwalkers that he's not taking into consideration, we have Lightsong, who is charismatic, good at caretaking and fighting. We have Blue Jay, who is charismatic, good at storytelling. Sunnytail, who is nervous, good at mediating. Fawn Nest, who is childish, good at mediating. Owlfeather, who is insecure, good at hunting. And Iris Freckle, who is shameless and clever. Now, obviously, Shivering Star, if he's not impressed with one of these Mistwalkers, if nobody stands out in his patrol, he might consider someone else. But those two cats, they feel almost like royalty, don't they? Like, very privileged. They're privileged vampires. Privileged vampires who are being noticed by the Grand Master. So, okay, let's send out our patrol of 6 and see how they go. As the patrol is checking the border lines, they hear an odd sound coming from just beyond the rockfall. Proceed. Blue Jay pads towards the rockfall to check on the noise. When a rabbit bursts out. Owlfeather is quick to react and snags the rabbit before it can disappear. A large amount of prey is brought to camp. So Blue Jay and I think her favorite daughter, Owlfeather, actually managed to work together really well to haul in a huge amount of prey. So they would have stood out in this patrol, but the leaders are not really paying attention to them. Blue Jay also stood out in, I think the last time we were considering mentors for fledglings, but she didn't end up getting picked. Maybe things will be different this time around, but I don't know, maybe not. And then we have Pine Speck, Quiet Flight, Burnleaf, Master Burnleaf, and Grandmaster Shivering Star. So let's see if one of the Mistwalkers actually stand out this time around. There's a spring in their steps as the cats head out. Today looks like a good day for hunting. Proceed. The conditions don't disappoint. It's going to be tough carrying all their fresh kill home, but that's the kind of problem the cats are happy to have. So a huge amount of prey is brought back to camp, but none of the cats actually stood out in this patrol. So Shivering Star might reconsider his decision about who he wants to mentor the youngsters. But it's kind of interesting that he shortlisted these 2 cats in particular, when hopefully we're going to have 2 fledglings. I mean, Pine Prince I understand, because the Pine Prince, he did really well in his batch, and maybe his, like, you know, new, young, thriving talent. And Shivering Star in the past has made it clear that he has high hopes for Pine Spec. But I find his choice of Quiet Flight interesting because he was friends with Quiet Flight. That friendship turned resentful, still is resentful. So there are mixed feelings there. And Quiet Flight, her fledgling did the worst in the last batch. So, that's interesting. But maybe he's got other things in consideration, which I haven't thought of. But we now have 229.7 prey. Oh my goodness, that is so much food. That's like so much food, we don't have to worry about anything. It's kind of nice though, especially because we're like in the colder season. But okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.